Hello, my darlings, and welcome to the Post-Meridian Radio Players podcast. I am talking to you from my castle underground, so forgive any echo you may hear.
Your drink, my lady.
Thank you, Nick Scratch. What do we have in the vault this week?
Let me see. More Coppersteam, my lady.
Ah, yes. Coppersteam. This new steampunk comedy series entitled Tom Sprocket's Imaginarium is from the reportedly demented mind of Isaiah Plovnick. Really, do I need to say anything more than that? It's a combination of comedy, wordplay, and adventure featuring two mysterious figures known as Hatters, who are, well, that would be telling. Here now is the premiere of the new serial entitled Tom Sprocket's Imaginarium.
The Madmen's Guild presents Tom Sprocket's Imaginarium by Isaiah Plovnick. Chapter 1. The Forkening.
Most people do not set alarms for when they are meant to go to bed. Certainly, most children do no such thing. But then, most children are not Tom Sprocket.
Bedtime! The scientist is ever eager to return to their lab. The labourer is ever eager to return to their bed. For young Tom Sprocket, lab and bed are one and the same.
It all began one night when Tom was but a boy of 8. His mother had been called up to Ironford for an engineering job, so the lad spent the night at his grandmother's.
It was a dark and stormy night.
We know that sounds a bit passé, but it genuinely was a dark and stormy night.
Thomas, dearie, it's only me. The storm hasn't frightened you, has it? Thomas?
And so, brave Captain Spilk steered his schooner round and around until the big, ferocious sea serpent sausage got sucked into a gravy maelstrom.
Oh dear, he must get that from his mother's side.
Upon waking the next morning and being informed by his nana that such habits as somniloquy weren't at all becoming of young boys, Tom realized that his recounted unconscious musings called to remembrance the fogged shapes of a dream he had had the night before, which had, as dreams so often do, scuttled off into the cloud-curtained corners of his mind at the sight of daylight.
So when his mother came to collect him the next morning, the first thing he asked for was
a phonograph. What on earth do you want one of them for?
Please, Mum, I want to do an experiment on myself when I'm sleeping. Please.
An experiment, is it? Well, Professor, phonographs don't come cheap, but I'll see if Angus can find us one tomorrow. How's that?
Yay!
So the next morning, Mother Maeve Sprocket popped by the salvage yard to see if Rusty Angus had any phonographs lying about. Angus, being madly in love with Mother Maeve, was only too happy to oblige. Even threw in the wax cylinders for free.
And so that evening, after eating his supper, donning his pyjamas, brushing his teeth, and thanking his mother profusely, young Tom wound up the phonograph,
Inserted the cylinder,
dropped the stylus,
and all but dove into bed.
Good night, Mum.
Good night, Tom. Sweet dreams.
Some stomach stabbing. I went off to...
The next morning,
Tom, breakfast.
Mum, Mom! Mom! Listen! And then Mr. Drumstick climbed into his favorite chair and pulled hard on the lever. And his house sprouted legs. Great big legs, like an ostrich's, only green and scaly. His house stood up and started to walk. It walked to the end of the street. It walked into town. And it kept going until it reached the seaside. And then Mr. Drumstick pulled another lever, and his house grew fins like a whale. And the fins flapped, and the legs paddled, and the house swam far across the ocean, all the way to Egypt to visit the pyramids. And Mr. Drumstick never even left his sitting room. And then
Oh, why, Tom, you clever boy. You were dreaming aloud last night.
Listen, there's more.
And so young Tom would go to bed each night, and the phonograph would capture his dream.
And every morning, his mother and he would listen to the dream over breakfast. And so it was until one morning.
Tom, shake a leg.
This one's a cracker, Mum. It's got a fuzzy cyclops in it.
Oh, love, I'm afraid we don't have time for that this morning.
What?
I'm so sorry, love, but Mr. Coulthorpe's pushed our hours forward. I have to be at the factory in 20 minutes. Eat up now.
Okay.
And if young Tom were an ordinary lad, that might have been the end of it.
But he was not, so it was not.
Oh, far from it! For you see, in addition to having an imagination with its own gravitational field, Tom Sprocket possesses an ingenuity that could follow you into a revolving door and come out first. And so when his mummy came home from work that evening...
Mum, may I visit Rusty Angus at the salvage yard tomorrow after school? I want to see if he has some things I can use to fix the phonograph.
All right, Tom, but be very careful where you step. Don't touch anything without gloves, and only if Angus says it's all right. Be sure to be home by 6.
Thanks, Mum!
And so the next day, Tom popped by to visit his Uncle Angus at the salvage yard and brought away an old Hanson Ball typewriter, an assortment of mechanical linkages, and the analogue from a stenophone.
The things people throw away.
And that evening before bedtime, he borrowed some of his mummy's spare tools and went to wondrous work.
Good night, Mum!
Good night, darling.
And the next morning...
Tom, sausages.
Mum, look at this! Look!
Why, what's this? But by the time that Theodore had reached the end of the labyrinth, he realised he had dropped his keys back when the Minotaur had tried to sell him encyclopedias. Why, Tom, is this your dream?
I added a transcription device to the phonograph so you could take it to work with you.
Oh, however did I raise such a genius?
You'll read it at lunchtime, won't you?
Of course I will.
And so, young Tom would go to bed each night, and the phonograph and transcription machine would capture his dream.
And every morning his mother would take the dream to work with her to read during her lunch hour. And so it was, until one evening.
Tom, supper's ready.
What did you think of my dream, Mum?
Oh, love, I'm afraid I didn't finish it. Mr. Coulthorpe's cut our lunch hour to a quarter. I only made it to the 3rd page.
Okay. Mum, may I go to the salvage yard tomorrow?
And so, the next day after school, Tom came away from the salvage yard with a switch lobe, camshaft index, an old Type 32 intelligence engine, the stylus arms from an etching machine, and a great big pot of ink.
And after borrowing his mother's tools again...
happened the next morning.
Tom! Breakfast!
Mom, look! Look!
My word, Tom. Did you draw this handsome knight?
I dreamed him. The machine drew him. You can read it faster now that there's pictures.
Oh, Professor Thomas, you've done it again.
And so he had. Mother Maeve Sprocket was henceforth able to read her shining son's dreams beginning to end during her meagre lunch hour at the Aether Refinery.
And if young Tom were an ordinary lad, that might have been the end of it.
But he was not, so it was not.
Oh, far from. I say, haven't we been here before?
I don't know. Where are we?
Perhaps it's best if we step away for a moment.
Oh, I do concur. This fourth wall is dreadfully stifling. Both of us together now, and here.
I say, that's better.
Yes, we've been blathering on for 10 minutes, and they've probably no idea who we are.
Indeed. Hello, all. Alduce me to introduce myself. My name is Ada Wellsburn.
And I'll self me to introduce my deuce. I am Edward von Arkham.
The two of us are many things, but chiefly we are, retired time travelers.
And Mad Hatters of the Coppersteam City Madmen's Guild.
A charmingly eclectic coastal technopolis in the English West Country, known for the inventiveness of its people, the eccentricity of those same people, and its reputation as a hot spot for random and fantastic happenings.
Sporadic episodes that range from the slightly unusual, such as the Grand Tower clock inexplicably chiming 13, to the catastrophically bizarre, such as a yawning chasm opening up in the middle of Darwinston Park, uncovering a long-lost subterranean race of lizard mole people who feast on human flesh and demand a seat on the city council.
That was a fun solstice picnic.
Oh yes, such lovely sandwiches.
Any which way and how, the incidents of this particular episode fall broadly across the entire peculiarity spectrum. But perhaps the oddest thing about it is that my colleague and I had very little to do with it.
Honestly, we were barely involved. Might have given one or two gentle nudges to it, but on the whole, it was utterly out of our hands.
We hadn't even an inkling that anything was going on until 2 months after the wheels had been set in motion. It started as a day much like any other.
The mounting momentum of the morning was moving the masses up and about. Motor carriages were mumbling, penny farthings were perambulating, and pedestrians were pedestering to and fro upon the cobbles and bricks.
The mechanics on Factory Row were punching into work. The merchants on Market Street were opening their shops and stalls. The aeronauts on the Aether docks were preparing to cast off their lines. Postman Sputtertilt was careening along his delivery route on his wibbly-wobbly monowheel, trying, as usual, not to panic.
Oh, why me? Why me? Why me?
It was very much madness as usual. But as poor Sputty was approaching the end of Calliope Row, the two most extraordinary things occurred.
Firstly, for the first and only time in remembered history, Postman Sputtertilt did not hit the great big gap in the cobblestones at the end of Calliope Row.
Oh!
Unfortunately for him, he promptly thereafter crashed his wheel into the second extraordinary thing.
Hello, postman. Hit the gap in the cobbles again, did you?
Hello, Mr. Waxplot. No, I ran into that fork in the road.
It was a literal fork. A large, four-pronged utensil sticking out of the cobblestones like a silverware sapling.
What's all this then? Oh, bugger.
Hello, Constable. Oh, Spotty is falling off again. Only this time, it were that ruddy great fork in the road.
Who put that there? That's obfuscation of traffic, that is. Come on, Jack. Help me shift it.
Righto. It ain't half stuck in there good.
Dear, oh dear, I shall have to phone the yard about this.
Hello, Jack.
Hello, Mr. Camberwell.
What are you gaping at?
Postman's crashed at that fork in the road, innit?
Oh, my head. Well, why don't the constable just move it?
We tried. It's intractable.
No, it's definitely in the road. Look.
Yes, PC Funkspoke here. There's a fork in the road at Calliope Row and Market Street. No, I'm not having a laugh. No, it hasn't. Well, I've never noticed it before. Look, just tell Chief Inspector Pikes. I can't shift it on my own. What do you mean, busy?
As it so happened, Calliope and Market was not the only intersection that had been forked. For at that very moment, at the corner of Cutlass Crescent and Leatherstone Lane...
Hello, Mrs. McRibbit. Hello, Mrs. Sprocket. Oh, what's that in the road there? Looks like a fork. Oh, no. That's careless of someone. We keep ours in a silver drawer. You couldn't keep a fork that size in a silver drawer. There'd be no room for the teaspoons, or the soup spoons, the tablespoons, the butter knives, the salad forks.
All right, clear out of it. Nothing to see here. Oh, clear out, I said.
That'll do, Sergeant Wolfglove. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? What does that look like to you, Sergeant?
Looks like a bloody great fork, Chief Inspector.
Really? 'Cause to me it looks like somebody's idea of a bad joke.
The giant must be on a liquid diet.
Yeah, like that one. How many of these stupid things have been reported?
Looks like one at every major crossing in the city, ma'am.
Superb. Have some hammers and pickaxes sent round, whatever you need. Just get these things shifted and let's get on with our day.
Yes, ma'am.
The remainder of the day was rife with confused pedestrians, complaining motorists, and teams, mind you, of police constables straining themselves to the utmost to defork the city's intersections.
The Coppersteam Chronicle called it the Forkening. The Cogston Times referred to it as September the 4th, and the West Country Journal went with Coppersteam Gets Forked. Amusing half-page articles which made for pithy anecdotes and charming dinner conversation. But come the morn, the streets had been cleared of the cutlery, and the silly business had been largely disregarded by all.
Well, almost all. For the very next morning, a young man in a threadbare country tweed suit and thrice-mended bug-eye lens spectacles stepped off the 8:14 train from Gwales at the Coppersteam Rail Hub Depot, failed to hail a motor cab, got lost 5 times, and eventually stumbled his way to Ye Old Cracked Pot, an inconspicuous pub on Runcible Street, which is not so secretly the entrance to the Madmen's Guild Hall.
What do you want?
Hello. My name is Tickler Wynot. I have an appointment.
Let's see your spoon then.
Yes. Here it is.
Call that a runcible? It's wood.
Yes, I made it myself. We don't have an official guild where I'm from, you see.
And where's that, eh? County Crocker whole Hang on. Yes. Are you having a laugh? This one? Have you seen him? He's about as mad as a stamp collection.
Well,
Do you see how he's dressed? Some 90-year-old geography teacher must be running around in the nuddy.
Well, that's a
Looks
bit...
like he waters down his toast.
I can actually hear you.
It's rude to interrupt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What? All right, if you say so. Go on then, Treacle.
They're waiting for you.
Mr. Why Not was conducted by Vera, the guild's ever-vigilant doorwoman, who just happens to be a talking baboon in a dress, into the hall and directed to the Nonsuch Lounge, where Macaulay and I were awaiting him.
Thank you for seeing me at such short notice.
Not at all, Ducky. Why, Macaulay and I were happy to receive your wireless.
Yes, I wrote as soon as I read about it, you see. That is, not what I wrote. I didn't read about what I wrote. I wrote about what I read, of course. Yes, I couldn't very well have read what I wrote before I'd written it. No, I read about what happened here, and then I wrote...
Yeah, for some verbal tea.
Oh, yes, verbal, did you say?
Oh, yes.
Don't you mean herb? Ah, right then.
Open your gullet, you toilet!
Oh, sorry, my lad. It's a bit strong. Here, have some cream in that.
Drink me!
Ah, that's better.
Yes, tidy.
He seems a bit ill at ease for a spoon holder, wouldn't you say, Wellsburn?
Like he's sitting on a hornet's nest, Von Arkham.
Ah, well, I'm not exactly a guild member, you see. I come from a very small village called Gwynop. There isn't a guild there, not even a post office. I've applied to the guild in Clubworks, but they say I'm not actually mad, strictly speaking.
I've never known anyone from Gwales to speak strictly.
You see, I don't conform to any of the traditional castes, you see. Enigmata, Materia, Inventrix, Eccentrix, certainly not Maverick Maniovorum. There are some in my village who would call me Idiota Vulgara, but not by guild standards, I'm afraid. You see, I don't make or do or say mad things, but I do study them. I'm a curiologist and a phenomenographer, you see.
Ooh, a curiologist, Von Arkham.
Ooh, a phenomenographer, Wellsburn.
Yes. You see, I make it my work to examine and document unexplained peculiarities and those that have been explained but still don't quite make sense. I've developed a theory about what I call the why not effect.
Oh, named it after yourself, did you?
What? No, I'm not partial to eponyms. No, it refers to the phenomena of certain things that defy scientific explanation merely because they're expected to. Oh, things like bumblebees. Their wings were too small for their bodies to be able to fly, but that didn't stop them. Before they went extinct, that is. And bicycles. The laws of physics should forbid them from staying upright. There's no reason that ice should be slippery, but it is. These things, they shouldn't be able to do what they do, but they do.
They do, you know.
They do.
And I can't quantify it, you see, but I believe that Coppersteam City is a hotbed of activity for the why not effect. There was that vestibule business last year.
Oh, well, that's another story entirely.
And now these forks popping up in the roads, as if an order for the metaphor factory were accidentally sent to the literal factory. Oh, I don't mean a literal factory, of course. I mean a factory that makes... Anyways, when I read about it, I sent the wireless to you and I caught the first train from Wales. I haven't the tools I need to make a proper study of it, but with your permission, the guild's permission.
Balderdash!
No, honestly, goodness gracious.
Mr. Balderdash, would you kindly show Mr. Why Not here to the strange engineering lab?
He is to be given full supervised access to the lunimetry apparatus.
Oh my, thank you. Goodness, thank you. You won't regret this. I'll get right to it. Yes, indeed. Sorry. Yes, I'm coming.
Well, my colleague.
What a unique young lad.
Indeed. What do you suppose he'll find, I wonder?
More than he bargained for, I expect.
Collywobble tosser.
Pass the sugar.
Whilst my colleague and I were ruminating on Runsell Street, the triumphant tintinnabulation of the final bell at the Prodigy School was signalling the excited exodus of its jubilant juveniles.
Like wind-up mice, they zipped down the steps and off to their kaleidoscopes and zoetropes, tin toy soldiers and dolls, their games of marbles and make-believe, or to spill their pocket money into sweet shop tills. Well, most of them, that is.
Coming to the park today, Tom. We're going to pick up rocks and jump off of things. Sorry, Charlie, not today. What, not the library again? You'll turn into a book one day.
Tom Sprocket, as every day after school, was bound for the Old Town Athenaeum, that splendid repository of infinite wonders where the real learning happens, to fill up his head with ideas, never taking the same route twice, for where would be the fun in that?
Off he skipped down Phlogiston Road, whistling a jaunty tune and thinking about what sort of illustrated adventure he fancied sitting down to today. Fantasy, perhaps. His last escapade had been so very down to earth, motivated merely by curiosity. What comes down must go up, after all.
But sometimes they must first go sideways.
Oh! Oi! Why don't you watch where I'm going, you soppy-faced
Stop! Freeze!
bugger!
Tom's first thought at this sudden and fleeting encounter was that the girl's soot-smeared face and tousled cloud of ginger hair made her look a bit like a sunflower from that painting his nan liked so much.
His second thought was preempted by the blaring bombast of a decibelligerant foghorn, which turned out to be an old family friend.
Tommy, me bro lad!
Hello, Uncle Angus.
Rusty Angus was not, in fact, Tom's uncle. He was, in fact, a former boiler mechanic from the Ether Works where Mother Maeve worked, who had lost an arm and a leg when he had misinterpreted the phrase heads up in the context of a runaway steam crane, and now ran the salvage yard off Nautilus Point Road.
Most parents would be slightly hesitant to allow their young child to associate with a 6-foot, 300-pound hootsman in a utility kilt with a mechanical arm and piston rod peg leg who deals in scrap metal and smells of whiskey. But Mother Maeve knows full well that this craggy, barrel-chested exterior secretly housed a heart of haggis.
Take a gander at that! Solid high-grade bronze, that valve. Stopper! What some numpties throw away?
Wow! That's...
Look out! Away and boil your head, you tatty brain tough minted bumput!
Watson's whiskers, thanks, Uncle Angus. That was a close one.
Aye, that's Lady Zeplington's coach.
Lady Zeplington?
Aye. Wealthiest posh toff in the city. Real jammy dundernut. Only thinks boot her angel, you ken. Leaves bun the rest of us with her head in the clouds.
She lives in the clouds?
Here than the Heelands there sail.
Did you know that the Aether Works, where Mum works and where you used to work, before you had your arm and your leg smashed off, is the heaviest building in the city? It has to be really heavy, because if it weren't really heavy, then it would float away because of all the lift gas.
Clever lad. Gonna to the library, are you, Tom?
Yup. I've got to return this book of Coppersteam City street maps. You were right. You said the road had forks in it, and I saw them yesterday.
Aye, I did. Though I didn't mean...
Crumbs! I have got to go. Bye, Uncle Angus.
Haste you back, lad, and give my love to your ma.
At that very moment, in the heavier than all other buildings Ether Works on Factory Row, Mother Maeve was sitting down for her so-called lunch hour with a thermos of stew and her loving son's dream.
Right. Once there was a town called Forkshire where... And that's that.
6 minutes today, Maeve. Mr. Colthorpe must be feeling generous.
Sure, Pete.
Right, lads. You heard the flute. Everybody back to work. Last one on the floor's got to scrub the carbon filters. Move it, move it.
whilst at the keeper's kiosk of the Old Town Athenaeum, Seraphina Strange, the long-lived literature-loving librarian, was already awaiting her favourite patron.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Strange.
Oh, why, hello, Mr. Sprocket. Have you had a good day at school?
Oh, yes. Today, we learnt about birds. Did you know that the wandering albatross can stay in the air for 6 years, but they mostly fly over the water so nobody notices when they go to the toilet?
Is that so? Oh, what a funny old bird.
My nan says that you're a funny old bird, Mrs. Strange.
Oh, bless her.
Grandma Sprocket's opinion of Mrs. Strange was not an uncommon one, as her perennial raven-black attire, skeletal stature, slightly hunched posture, and silver-white hair made her look a bit like a vulture, and her dulcet cooing voice made her sound a bit like a pigeon.
And what will you be reading today, Mr. Sprocket?
Do you have any books about people who live in the sky?
Oh, live in the sky. Now, do let me see. Second floor, third row, fifth shelf. Have a peek under G.
Thanks, Mrs. Strange.
And off Tom strode to delve through the shelves, passing as he did through the jungle, the desert, the mountain, the ocean.
The never, the always, the then and the now.
A cottage by a lake, the surface of the moon, cloud cuckoo land, and the exciting world of butterfly collecting, all of them attired in handsome leather waistcoats.
At last he came to the fifth shelf in the third row on the second floor, whereupon he found...
Travels into several remote nations of the world in 4 parts by Lemuel Gulliver. First a surgeon, and then a captain of several ships. Dancing dirigibles!
And with the turn of a page, he was off on his next grand exploit. The better half of the afternoon he passed with Gulliver, journeying to tiny peopled Lilliput, massive peopled Brobdingnag, and finally to Laputa.
The reader can hardly conceive my astonishment to behold an island in the air, inhabited by men who were able, as it should seem, to raise or sink or put it into progressive motion as they pleased.
And as Tom could read at the rate most people could think, he had reached the back cover just in time for supper.
Tom all but soared his way home to Cobalt Street, flapping like an albatross as he bounded through the South End.
His brain brimming with birds and flying cities, his stomach all but empty, eager as ever to fill the latter with stew and share the surfeit of the former with his mummy.
Travels into several strange...
No, Mom. Travels into several remote nations of the world in 4 parts by Lemuel Gulliver. First a surgeon, and then a captain of several ships.
Was that the title of the entire first chapter?
The title, silly.
Of course. Silly me.
First, he goes to Lilliput, where all the people are really tiny. Then Brobdingnag, where everyone's a giant. Then to the flying island of Laputa. Then Balnabari, Lugnag, Glubdubdrib, and the land of the Nims and Yahus.
Now you're definitely making things up.
Nuh-uh. It's all true from Mr. Gulliver's memoirs.
Well, we must go and visit these wondrous places someday.
What did you think of my dream from last night?
Oh, I'm afraid I didn't have time for it today.
Can we read it together before bedtime?
I'm sorry, dear, but Mr. Colthorpe had us on a double shift today, and the same again tomorrow. If I'm going to stay awake on the line, I need to get enough sleep.
I see.
I'm sorry, Tom. Here, why don't you finish your stew and get to bed and dream us up a story that we can read together tomorrow?
All right!
So, as he did every night, Tom Tom performed his ablutions, donned his pyjamas, and prepared to enter the Imaginarium.
Good night, Mom! Good night, my dear.
Lion City. Albatross lives in the clouds.
And as the Sandman sprinkled his grains upon young Tom's slumbering pate, the myriad mechanisms whirred, ticked, buzzed, pumped, and thrummed, methodically shaping, pressing, and polishing each grain into an iridescent pearl.
And at length, one after another, every head in Coppersteam was laid upon its pillow and followed suit, until all the city was dreaming.
The next morning, in the industrial-grade kitchens of Zeppelington Hall, the sweat and sauce-stained servants were hurry-scurrying among the butter-sputtering pans and bubble-belching pots of a breakneck breakfast brouhaha, when...
Hurry up, Cora. A ladyship would be wanting a tea. Go on, fetch the milk, girl. Oh. I don't think I could get the milk today, Beryl. You what? Don't be daft, you lazy girl. Bring in the bottles. Milkman should have left them right on the doorstep. Yes, but it's a rather large step today, Beryl.
Lady Zeppelington was just beginning to rouse from her oyster-heavied, daintily flatulent slumber against a cliffside of peacock-down cushions, like a pampered pudding in a peignoir.
A ladyship was a woman of excess. The type of excess that caused the Empress-sized mattress on her curtained canopy bed to more closely resemble a hammock after a month of use, and to instill in her overly petted poodle the impulse to scurry for dear life and hide in the grand piano whenever its name was called.
Cressida? Madam, no strawberries this morning, my dear. I'm not particularly hungry. Just have Chef pick them off the trifle and send it up with the quiches and deviled kidneys and sweet buns. There's a dear.
Madam, I think I ought to tell you.
Fifi! Where's Fifi gotten to?
You really should hear.
Such a beautiful morning. Oh, come to the balcony, Cressida. You've never seen a sky so clear.
Madam, I wouldn't.
Do that if I were you.
Lady Zeppelington normally quite enjoyed looking out at her prized rose bushes just below her balcony of a morning. Looking out at her prized rose bushes 1,000 feet below her balcony of a morning was less enjoyable.
I wonder why Zeppelington Hall is floating all of a sudden.
I wonder what it has to do with the forks in the road.
I wonder what both of those things have to do with Tom Sprocket.
I wonder if our new friend, Mr. Why Not, will figure it out.
I wonder how you tell whether a staircase goes up or down.
If you're wondering what we're wondering, why not write your theories on a passing old lady and throw her in our direction?
Or I suppose you could just join us again next time.
Until then,
stay mad, my duckies.
chapter of Tom Sprocket's Imaginarium featured Isaiah Plovnick as Von Arkham, Ashley Ristine as Wellsvern, Maz Mazzacano as Tom Sprocket, Circe Rowan as Maeve Sprocket, Chingwei Patrick Sullivan as Tickler Wynot and Postman Sputtertilt, Phoebe Roberts as Chief Inspector Pikes, and Rebecca Green as Penny Peppersass, with Eric Chung as Nana Sprocket, Lily Dean Delaquercia as Jack Waxblot, Justice Perry as Constable Thumpspoke, Andrew Winson as Callers Camberwell and Mrs. McRivet, Aaron Stoliker as Sergeant Wolfglove, Brooks Reeves as Rusty Angus, Ariel Kaplan as Vera, Jeremy Holstein as Brian Balderdash, Liz Salazar as Seraphina Strange, Kimberly Dorber as Cressida, Marty Seeger Mason as Lady Zeppelington, additional voices by Jackie Fryman. The announcer was Barb the Jack. Music by Kevin MacLeod and David Feslian, licensed under Creative Commons. Tom Sprocket's Imaginarium was written, directed and edited by Isaiah Plovnick. It was recorded at Brookline Interactive Group and was a Madmen's Guild production for the Post Meridian Radio Players podcast. What on earth did I just listen to?
My, but that was madness, was it not? There are 3 more episodes of Tom Sprocket's Imaginarium coming soon, with part 2 debuting in 2 weeks' time. Stay tuned, my darlings. If you like what you hear, you can check out more from the PMRP, including upcoming performances and auditions at their website, pmrp.org, or their Bandcamp store, pmrp.bandcamp.com. Please support this podcast by giving us a review or recommending it to your friends. Until next time, my darlings, and remember, I shall see you in your dreams.
This has been a production of the Post Meridian Radio Players. Copyright 2025. All rights reserved. For more information about our group, please visit www.pmrp.org.